See how quiet it is when V's not here? I can almost hear you holding your breath.
Almost held it together.
Nope.
Hey, internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Dawnbringers. This is Season 6, Episode 2, Childlike Wonder. And in just a couple of moments, we will get into the recap and the session, play some Dungeons and Dragons. First, a couple of announcements. First, of course, it's obvious. V is not here tonight, so we will somehow survive. Others will have to fill in the giggles. I'm sure that's not going to be that much of a stretch.
I don't know. She's usually the one that makes me giggle.
Right. So
we crack each other up.
Well, we'll see what else we can what else we can do.
I'm counting the rest of y'all to make me laugh.
I almost said like 3 things and stopped immediately because I know somehow Jeremy will turn them into something else. Don't look at me like that. We all know you're the instigator.
No, V is not here. Everything is going to be perfectly fine. It's all going to be G-rated.
Well, now that feels like a challenge.
So the other thing I want to say is something's going on with Twitch extensions. So if you try to look at the D&D Beyond overlay, you will notice that it is not our campaign. It's actually the Legends of Saltmarsh campaign, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. So I apologize for that. Just look on the overlay and you can see everybody's character names, actually with modifications, because I did update the overlay for their new current situation. I do, of course, want to draw attention to look up here above my head. In fact, look on my head because I'm wearing a Session Zero ball cap from our new sponsor, Session Zero Clothing. We were lucky enough to partner up with Ryan at Session Zero Clothing for the Dawnbringers, to sponsor the Dawnbringers. So you can, Jeremy's already put the link in chat, so you can check out their fine selection of nerdy t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and accessories. And while you're there, use code MTD0 to get 10% off your order. And if you follow that specific link, that is our affiliate link. So you'll help the channel out too. So do check that out. We are very appreciative of this partnership with Ryan, and we hope you'll see more in the future. We also have channel sponsor Talon and Claw. Just type in ! MTD Claw. Makers of fine wooden gaming accessories, such as dice vaults, GM screens, rolling trays. And if you follow his TikTok, he's got over 10,000 followers on TikTok now. And you can see previews of some of the stuff that he's working on. Use code MTDClaw at checkout and get 10% off of your order over there. As long as you're checking out Sponsor Friends, check out our friend Keel over at Run Right Play with ! RWP. Keel is curating a community of collaboration, and he's just a good bean from the other hemisphere. So go check him out and check out his Patreon. Let's see, what else do we have? VODs, of course, are available on YouTube. The Dawnbringers usually go up within a week. I'm getting better about that. I'm trying to get them to go up, schedule them to go up on Saturday mornings. So yeah, check that out. You can type ! schedule to see a schedule of all the other games going on here on Mini Terrain Domain. The last thing that I want to mention before we start playing our game is, of course, our mental health check-in and just letting you know that we know it can be a struggle. It's sometimes you're not okay, and it's okay to be okay. But we want you to know that you matter. You You might not believe that, but it's true. You matter. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's a struggle. But you don't have to struggle alone. You can, anytime you're here, type in !help, and you will see a message pop up in the chat, such as is there now, along with an absolutely wonderful link, findahelpline.com. It is such a simple resource to use. Bookmark it, save it for yourself, save it for a friend. All you do is put where you're located in the world, and a number of mental health and help services will pop up, specifically to your location. So, yeah, please do check that out. I think with that, it's time to play. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to mention. I knew I was forgetting something. Right up above Dan's head, you will see a little, in fact, I'm going to summon the butterflies, because I know we got another one here. Our domain dice are a way that you, the viewers, can have an influence on what goes on here in the game. It's as simple as subscribing, gifting subs, resubbing, cheering 500 bits, tips. You can tip through the Ko-Fi link right here. All those wonderful ways. Earn domain dice for the players. They can do things like they can re-roll. They can make me re-roll. They can spend hit dice outside of healing. They can turn failed death saves into successful death saves. Or their absolute favorite thing in the world to do is use 5 domain tomes, also known as the Patron's Blessing, to turn a hit into a super crit, which is an automatic double max damage. So, yeah. They get them from you. Did I say something?
You said tomes.
Oh. I was more worried that I said something inappropriate, that you were stifling your laughter over.
No, I'm just giggling over D&D Dad doing his thing.
Yep. They're domain dice. They started as domain dice. That's what here on this game. Yeah. But they're tomes on Candlekeep, and for some reason I've just locked into domain tome. Domain dice. Jeez. Well, when I had the Choke campaign going, what were they called them? They were something different. They weren't domain dice. Domain devils. Because I like to make things easy for myself. So yes, that's domain dice. Now it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. Here in our 6th season in Dawnbringers, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight, the Dawnbringers have been hanging out for about a month, waiting in Lonelywood, in one of the 10 towns in Icewind Dale. Passing the time while they waited on some kind of word that there was going to be a way for them to get passage to the Feywild, so that they can save their surviving crew members of the Evangeline, and save the Evangeline herself, who is trapped within the Feywild. After a month, they were visited by an old friend, the satyr scribe, who joined them for dinner and then led them out into the snowy plains, where they watched as a magical carnival appeared before them, assembling itself, and they found themselves outside of the ticket booth. They had tickets that were given to them. They handed their tickets over at the ticket booth, and as they passed through the gates into the Witchlight Carnival, or just past the ticket booth, that is where a magical transformation has taken place. And we are going to start tonight's session off by going around the overlay, starting with Little Talmud. I would like you each to describe your magical childlike transformation and what you look like. And thank you for holding in the laughter at the phrase Little Talmud. Take it away, Talmud.
So I think, yeah, okay. I think we see Talmud's tattoos begin to glow, but they only go up so high over his body as he's kind of walking through this portal. And then there's this kind of blue ghostly energy that we normally see kind of protrude from his face when one of his ancestors is called forward. But this time it's actually just a childlike form of Talmud that steps out. And the rest of Talmud just kind of like vanishes into this blue heavy smoke. And the ghost-like visage slowly becomes corporeal. And he looks a lot like Talmud. He's short, he's stout, he has blonde hair, a lot of braids. He doesn't have a beard, which is probably a little odd. That's the first time that most of you have ever seen that. Probably the only time that any of you will ever see that. And he has this squat version of Gertel Brenne kind of on his back, but it looks a little different, kind of a little matte in places that should be shiny. And he kind of looks down at his hands and kind of his body, and he just says,
"Oh no."
All right. As Talmud passes through, let's head over to little Thorgarn.
So Thorgarn, seeing, I don't know if this happens all at the same time or what have you, but as he walks through, I guess all the weapons strapped to his back, and Mohawk standing up, as he kind of presented himself to travel into the Feywild. The hair just kind of falls flat as he shrinks down even smaller, and you don't see the beard anymore. You don't see the mohawk anymore. It's actually more of like a, just like normal hair, normal length, absolutely diminishes in size. And he just like looks around at himself, looks around at the transformation of the weapons into this like almost spongy like material, and like he turns and looks to his cousin almost in a fearful look comes over his face.
Next up, Lil Fig.
You see stepping out from the portal, like very clumsy, a small, tiny thing made of metal whose head is just 3 times the size of its body, with these small arms and small legs, and he kind of just like teeters out. You hear this ting, 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 as baby Fig comes waddling out. You can see that he doesn't have that copper color to him with the blue arcane magic flowing through, but in this case he's all blue. He just kind of glows with this magic, this unfiltered, undirected magic. And he has this tiny little antenna on top of his head that just kind of glows every so often as he looks around, and immediately waddles over to something on the ground and kind of does that, when kids kind of squat down where their butt's not entirely to the ground, but they're just kind of like just curled up in a little ball right there, and he's holding on to his knees and he's just poking at something, distracted immediately by all of this.
And little Fig, you will notice that you have in your possession, you have a tiny plush version of yourself which is actually your simulacrum, has turned into a plush version. And running around your feet as you crouch down is a tiny wind-up, thin-figured robot that appears to have been completely wound up as it just goes as little tiny wind-up Hermes goes running back and forth. Then we will go to Little Drown.
Okay, Little Drown is probably still about 5 feet tall, given how all of that works. So his clothes are, they're the same clothes, but the fit is a little off. Like they're maybe just a little too baggy on him. And his sword, which, usually he never carries openly. He just summons it from wherever he banishes it to whenever he's ready to fight, right? It's actually kind of sheathed or strapped across his back, oddly enough. And it has that strange, just kind of texture doesn't look quite right, sort of like Gerta Brelne. He kind of wipes water off of his face that kind of poured down him like he stepped out of the rain, and he kind of shakes it off and looks a little oddly at himself and sort of flexes his hands. The main thing you would notice, his black tentacle tattoos are gone. And there are these angular markings on his face, down his eyes, kind of following his cheekbones, down his chin, across his neck. Basically everywhere you'd seen the tentacles tattooed on him, those are gone, and these angular sort of looking ones are there in the tentacles place. And he sort of looks around and says, "I feel really strange."
Immediately next to Little Drown, we see Little Rollo.
So Little Rollo is about a foot tall. She has teeny tiny little wings that when she entered the carnival, if I remember correctly, she put on some butterfly wings and they melded into her wings, and her wings are now little tiny butterfly wings. And they just kind of wave on their own as she's still trying to get used to using them. And so there's a constant motion of her wings behind her. And her scales are so fresh and so new. They're almost soft, and they lay against her like the scales of a baby snake, just very smooth and soft. She has huge black eyes that just stare up with like little circles of light reflecting in them perfectly, so that when she looks up at you, it's like Puss in Boots looking at you. You just get the big eyes. And she stands there for a second and looks around, and she looks at everybody and goes, "Oh no, Professor!" And from an explosion of snow comes this owlbear cublet. It's probably about, I'm gonna guess here, I don't know the actual sizing of it. I'm gonna guess it's probably about 2.5, 3 feet tall. It's very puffy. The combination of feathers and fur just stands out like it's come out of a dryer. It's just a puffball of adorable. And baby Rollo walks over, kind of waddles over, and scrambles up the side of the professor and sits on top of him, and the fur and feathers come up to about here. So you just see the top of her head, just her eyes peering up over the top of his fur and feathers, and the tops of the wings sticking out a little bit. And yes, actually, Jeremy, she looks very much like an alligator in a lake of fur and feathers, just peeking up.
And as you're peering up, Rollo, and we see again in those huge black orbs that are your eyes, we see the pinpoints of circular light reflected. And we realize, or rather you realize, it's not reflected pinpoints of light. there is a bubble about 3 feet in diameter rising from where Cantriel was moments before. And you can just make out inside the bubble the diminutive humanoid form of a little blonde-haired girl who seems not at all distressed. As the bubble begins to float out and about, you just hear wee, and you hear from the ticket booth next to you the goblin that was manning the ticket booth, this elderly looking goblin. He had been watching your approach through a spyglass, and he has a horn that he can hold up to his ear as he just looks up and he takes out his spyglass and he's, right, that can happen from time to time. Best not to fret about it. She'll come down at some point. Now, listen here, children. Before you head into the WitchLight Carnival, there are a couple of rules you need to know. First of all, keep your wings on at all times. That is how everybody within the carnival knows that you're a ticketed attendee. Secondly, you have your tickets. When your time in the WitchLight Carnival is done, you may hold on to your ticket as a keepsake souvenir. That ticket is good for 8 attractions in total. If you would like to do more, you can always come back and see me. And for a bit of bartering and a fair price, I'll see to it that you get another ticket. Do you have any questions before you set foot into the WitchLight Carnival? No? Wonderful.
What was the first one again?
Keep your wings on at all times, lad.
Right. And the second one?
1 ticket, 8 attractions. Or you need another ticket.
Rollo would like to know, what are the attractions?
Oh, you are in for one heck of a night at the WitchLight Carnival. There's, of course, the big top, but you best to save that for later. You'll have a chance to perform if you wish. There's, of course, the bubble teapots. If you're feeling up to it, or rather down to it, you could choose to visit the Pixie Kingdom. There's the Mystery Mine ride. There's giant snail racing, a hall of illusions, the Calliope. Of course, this wonderful ticket booth that grants you entrance. A carousel dragonfly rides. There's a feasting orchard, gondola swans, Silver Song Lake where you can see Parasha the mermaid. Oh! He holds his horn up to his ear. Do you hear that? It sounds like it's time for the beginning of the carnival and the welcome gifts. Best to be getting inside, lest you miss your gifts. And he takes sort of a bow and gestures in towards the entrance.
You're muted, Dan.
Yeah?
Yeah, now you're
There you
good.
go.
Oh, okay. No, it was not muted. Right. Well, I don't think we want to miss that. Let's go inside.
Sorry, of all the voices, this one is getting me.
I know.
Drown, you sound funny.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know. So he actually takes a moment, takes a deep breath, and then sings a deep bass note. I don't know. Sounds right. Anyway, let's go. There's presents.
Okay. Giddy up, Professor!
And so,
I think
oh, go ahead, Fig.
you see Fig stand up, kind of noticing that everyone's kind of moving on. He wasn't really listening. He was just still just absolutely taken by whatever this little speck on the ground. And you see it's a small bug that's been just crawling its way, and he's just been looking at it. But as he stands up really quickly, and you see that he takes a small little lead and he attaches it to the little wind up Hermes, and like a little like a train being, or like a little thing being pulled behind him, he just clop, 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 follows the rest.
I just imagine every
Talmud.
few steps the line grows taut, and then you hear.
Oh, I love it.
Talmud comes up behind little Fig and like scoops Fig up and places Fig like on his shoulders where he's like sitting kind of behind his head.
And now dangling along your side, bumping into you occasionally as this little Hermes wind up going tick, 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 little wind up feet just tick, 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 in the air.
Wait, Rollo have idea. Professor, you go let Hermes ride you.
And very shakily, her wings start to kind of not exactly move together. One is just like a couple seconds behind the other, so she's flapping kind of like this. And she flies over to... Let's see. Oh no, I need to die. She flies over... Well, I'll just do this. She flies over to drown.
Can I perch?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
He
good.
kind of pats his shoulder.
She flies over and kind of smacks him around the head with one of her wings a little bit, but settles down and just kind of clings to his collar. And Professor Alfred scuttles over next to Talmud and slips himself under Hermes and walks next to him so that they're not bumping into each other anymore.
I imagine Hermes gets lost inside all of that fur and feathers, because Hermes is
Like,
probably
we can see the
about.
fur
You just
moving
see
like
them
tall
moving.
grass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just see it. I love it. And you just hear. Hermes is on an adventure all his own. I think I know what our next side quest one shot's going to be. In the fur of the owl bear.
So Thorgarn winds up watching all of this from off to the side, kind of listening along with what the ticket taker was saying the whole time, going back and forth, giving Talmud side eyes, and he makes sure that Talmud goes first and is walking more than a handful of steps behind. Still hasn't said anything, but.
And from high above, in a little bit of a sing-song voice, you hear little Cantriel's voice just say, "I can see everything," as this bubble just goes flying. And you see that the bubble's starting to mix with other bubbles that are flying around in the carnival. And you see other people inside these bubbles safely floating to and fro. As you pass through into the entrance to this carnival, you see that there are sort of these common thoroughfare areas. There's tons of people walking everywhere. There doesn't seem to be any of the snow here within the carnival. There's little places here and there where a small pile of snow can be seen between booths. And at almost every place where the snow is piled up, there seems to be one or two gnomes that have hastily set up a little bit of a stand, and they're putting some kind of colored mixtures into the snow and selling snow cones. You can see just attractions all over the place. Opposite where you come in and straight ahead of you, you see this gigantic big top ahead of you, and just beyond that you can see what looks like several of the wagons that you saw come flying in that the carnival was assembled from. They seem to be assembled in some kind of an area behind there. But the thing that catches your attention right now is there is a 12-foot tall walking tree slowly making their way towards you. All throughout the branches are garlands of golden ribbon, and in its hands it holds the shimmery blue ribbon that, as it spreads it out into the air, it settles down around the perimeter, and they lay down the last little bit of this ribbon. And as it touches the ground, you see it's actually a small river that is flowing around the perimeter of the carnival. Within, or up above the branches of this tree, you see emerald clouds that are swirling around, and raining down all around it are golden spinning sycamore seeds. And you see all around you, people are trying to jump and grab at these seeds as they're spinning down. Some people miss them and they fall to the ground. And occasionally somebody will grab one, and then they'll open up their hands and they'll have some kind of prize that they've gotten from catching these falling sycamore seeds. In addition to that, you see that there is a little red squirrel running back and forth across the shoulders, arms, and branches of this walking tree, very talkatively greeting all of the fairgoers and handing out dandelions to anybody that walks by. And as you come near, all of you, sycamore seeds are raining down around you, and the tree sort of stops as this gaggle of children are suddenly in front of it. What would you like to do?
Fig wants to take one of these dandelions and is going to twist it up a little bit into Talmud's hair to create like a little like he's trying to create like a bit of a garland, but because I imagine his fingers are very small, you're not getting that dandelion out of your hair. It is now a mat inside of your hair. And as he takes another one and begins to put that in your hair as well.
And as you're reaching up, this little red squirrel just keeps handing you dandelions and going, yes, I absolutely love what you're doing. That is delightful. He's never going to get those out. He'll forever remember his stay here at the WitchLight Carnival. My, what delicate little fingers you have, so perfectly suited for weaving dandelions into hair.
And while this squirrel is just chattering away at Fig, Talmud is just looking up, and he says to Thorgarn, even though he's kind of far behind him,
That is a walking vegetable.
The tree, you hear that sound like when a tree is swaying in the wind. You can sort of hear the creaking of the branches. You hear that creaking as you realize sort of slowly the tree is putting large hands on its knees as it crouches down towards you and says, "Well, hey there, little dude. You don't like your vegetables?"
Well, aren't trees not vegetables? Aren't trees something else?
Well, you could choose to be a little pedantic about it, I guess, if you wanted to, but we are vegetation.
I'm not pedantic. I'm Thorgarn.
Oh, all right, Thorgarn. It's nice to meet you. Hey, if you try catching some of these sycamore seeds, you might get hooked up with a little something special.
Oh, catching the seeds is a game?
You see all around you as people are jumping up and grabbing at these. Yeah, man, make a game of it. You gotta you got a bit of an advantage over all the other ones here. Anybody that would like to try to catch a sycamore seed may make a dexterity check.
Is that okay? Should I maybe kneel down so, I'm not taking them from everybody else?
You are the way you are, man. Look.
Oh,
Don't change who you are to appease others. Just be yourself, dude.
All right, can't argue with that. What was your name?
They call me Northwind. This here's my little buddy, Red.
Northwind and Red. Well, hi,
Yeah.
and he'll hop up and try to grab a seed.
All right.
I got a 13.
Also have a 13.
Okay.
That's perfect.
So Fig is a little too preoccupied with the tying of the dandelions into Talmud's hair, and basically by the time you try to grab at one of these, it's already fallen past you. And it seems, I just imagine it's almost like you're just doing this and then you're like but everybody else does manage to capture one, so I would like each of you to roll me a d8, except for Fig.
Oh.
Yes,
So,
Jeremy, I think your mic's good now.
I will say that though Thorgarn catches one, he's over enthusiastic about it. So like he catches it, but lands completely flat on his face.
You catch it like you're catching the winning touchdown. Wait,
Like
I don't think
dives
those words
for
made
it.
sense. I showed my sports knowledge. Can you catch a winning touchdown? I
Yes.
don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can. That is.
If you
in
complete a
fact-
catch in the end zone, it is indeed a touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't know why I insist on occasionally making sports analogies.
Sports ball! Yay!
All right, so
I was going to say the same thing.
so Thorgarn, what did you get for your D8 roll?
Dose, 2.
Excellent. For the rest of your stay in the WitchLight Carnival, at least until dawn, you are easily amused. That is your new trait.
Okay.
Wow.
Drown, what did you get?
Got a 5.
Drown, as you grab this sycamore seed out of the air, you feel for a moment that almost like it's crushing under your weight, the brittleness of it, and suddenly it feels heavier in your hand.
Whoa.
And you open up your hand, and you're holding a gold piece.
Hey! Wow! Treasure!
Talmud,
I got a 3.
you are also easily amused.
True.
You just
Oh.
feel this
Oh, okay.
this mirth that sort of floods you as you capture the seed. And as you capture yours and Thorgarn's both simultaneously go, and little tiny streamers and confetti just burst out of your hand.
You're right.
Rollo,
I got a 1.
you are watching with awe as this is happening to Thorgarn and Talmud, and you, from your vantage point on Drown's shoulder, you're looking around at all of your friends, and you just have the sense like everything's gonna be okay. You have 1d8 that you can use anytime before dawn to add to an ability check.
Nice. Sweet.
All right, well, welcome to the WitchLight Carnival. I hope you all have a wonderful time, and I'll probably see you around. Me and Red will be making the rounds. Gotta make sure the river's staying flowing. Y'all have fun, all right?
All right, we'll do it.
Thank you,
Thanks,
nice
Northwind.
man. Bye-bye.
And then you just hear that
Thanks,
sort of
Red.
creaking of the branches as he steps up. And in 3 strides, he's well away from you. As he continues walking along, and you just see more and more people grasping at falling sycamore trees or seeds and dandelions being handed out. There are activities everywhere. I sent you a link in the chat. Hopefully you're able to access it to the map. You have free reign of the carnival. What would you like to do?
So you mentioned snow cones.
Yes.
I think that's definitely Talmud's first stop.
I would say not far away from you is there is a small booth. There's a place where it looks like snow has been piled up to move it out of the way. And you hear this you can sort of hear this as a couple of gnomes are just putting the finishing touches on nailing together their little bench, and one of them is really quickly scrawling with a piece of charcoal, snow cones, 1 copper piece. And then also thinks for a moment and then writes, or a bargain. And then they suddenly see you eyeballing them, and they elbow each other, and the one goes, puts his hammer away, and hello, I couldn't help but notice that you were eyeballing our fine selection of snow cones. Is there did you want a snow cone perchance, or 2 or 3 or more?
Yep.
I think
4 sounds about
Talmud.
right.
4?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Talmud
I said,
turns
I
and
said more. Do we want fig?
Oh,
Do we want snow cone?
more is bigger than 4.
You just
Let's
see Fig.
do 5. Professor, does he want one?
The professor turns around and looks at Drown and goes, and puts its paw up.
That's a yes. Yep. 6.
We should get one for Cantriel too.
It'll probably melt. No. Let's just come back and get her one when she comes out of the bubble ride.
Already you see the other gnome is just scooping up generous helpings of snow into these little paper cones, and underneath he just starts just pulling out of seemingly nowhere these bottles of brightly colored liquid that he just starts squirting on them and mixing and matching, and he's looking at each one of you and starts mixing up a little bit more. Ah, yes, there you go.
Are they like on a raised, platform, kind of like a food truck kind of deal, or is this?
Oh no, they're absolutely on a very tiny gnome-sized thing right in front of you.
Right. Thorgarn is getting probably in the vein of impolitely close to the process, or as close as he can possibly get, just to see exactly what is going on.
Well, you're able to get right up and watch what they're doing. In fact, as you get close and sort of crouching down, you see that one of them just stares right back into your eyes, and without looking is grabbing different colors and sort of mixing them into the snow. Yes, a perfect match. And holds it up, and his partner says, yes, every one of your snow cones has been carefully flavored to match the color of your eyes. Now, there is the matter of payment. Who will be paying for these?
Said it was a copper each.
I'll make a deal with you. If this is the WitchLight Carnival, after all, if you're willing, I'll let you pay for these all with a pact. It's a simple, harmless pact. Good only while you're here at the carnival.
Drown chuckles. Yeah, I know a little bit about pacts. What are the terms?
It's very simple. I give you the snow cones, and you follow the guidelines of the pact to the T while you are in the WitchLight Carnival. If at any time you break the rules of the pact, well, let's just say you'll be subject to the shenanigans of the Weird Three.
The tea's over there. I'll point in the direction of the bubble pop teapot.
What?
Oh, wow, you're really literal.
You said we have to follow the T?
To the T. Follow to the letter T.
Okay, he starts walking over there.
Wait.
Wait just a moment. You haven't paid for that snow cone yet.
But you said to follow the T. That's where I'm going. To get the snow cone, I gotta follow the T.
Are you going to make the pact then?
Oh, one person's pact is good for all the snow cones?
Yes.
What
Sure.
are the terms? Or do we?
I just have to go over to the. I just have to go to the teapot.
You just agree, and I'll tell you the terms.
Rollo would like to know what the pact is before swearing to it.
No, I think it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't
I think we
work
have
that
to
way, I'm
agree before
afraid.
we Get
Oh,
to find out what
no.
it demands. I don't know. Sounds like a
Demands?
rough deal.
It isn't. Oh, no, it's not that kind of a pact. I'm not a great old one. I'm great, and I'm old.
I'll go to the teapot if we all get snow cones.
Rollo pulls out 1 gold.
Rollo will pay.
Your gold's no good here.
Oh no.
Just
Rollo
here.
will not
This
pay.
is for me specifically.
Oh, okay.
So you're not taking coin at all then? We heard you, writing the sign earlier.
We're a brand new business, and we've been sussing out our business model, and we, in the early stages, thought we might take copper pieces, but now we're not. We're taking only packs.
Got it. Okay. Well, I misheard then. That's my fault. Well, what do y'all think? I want a snow cone. It's going to melt if we don't make a decision soon.
I want snow cone too, please.
I said I'll do
All
it.
right. Oh, okay. All right. There you go.
You have agreed to the terms of the pact.
Yes.
Roll a d8.
I don't know. Something scratches in my head.
One.
About this, like it's not a great idea, but hey,
Oh, whatever.
What'd you
We'll be
get?
fine.
that's fine.
What'd you get?
One. Uno. One.
1 was good for me.
Ah. Will the literal young men please come here?
Sure.
Come closer.
Oh, that one. Right.
Come closer. Closer. Not that close. Jeez. I can see all the pores in your nose. All right. Until dawn, you are not allowed to tell a lie knowingly.
Why would I want to tell a lie?
I don't know, but you can't. You've accepted the snow cones as payment, as exchange for this pact. You may not knowingly tell a lie.
Okay.
It is done. Enjoy your snow cones.
Thank you. And hey, thanks for getting us all snow cones, Thorgard.
Okay.
So you all now have delicious snow cones, and Thorgarn has made a pact in the Feywild, or in a Fey extension, not the Feywild.
I think Faye gets his snow cone and has misunderstood what a snow cone is. So he looks at it and he looks around seeing that everyone's eating it. He just kind of tilts his head to the side, tilts his head to the other side. He's going to take a little bit of it and he's going to just paint it on Talmud's hair to see if it changes color.
Big, as you start painting it into Talmud's hair, it changes to a color that is a perfect spectrum opposite of Talmud's hair. It is the perfect complementary color. You basically are giving him icy highlights. You're literally frosting his tips.
This pleases Fig to no end, and Fig is just going to start creating little shapes in Talmud's on his head, just like little butterflies that change color. And pretty soon Talmud just has its hair looks like a splotchy mess by the end.
And I imagine at some point, Talmud, you may become aware of
It'll be a while.
it's melting as it starts to run down your neck.
I imagine Rollo's is almost as big as she is. And so she's kind of precariously perched like this and just kind of munching away at it, but she can't eat it quick enough, and it's also dripping down, drown. So he's getting like black snow cone all over his shoulder.
Talmud
I think
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Drown would basically notice, but not really take any notice of it, because the cold doesn't really make him uncomfortable.
Are you saying the cold never bothered him anyway?
I was dancing around it, but sure. Yeah. So like occasionally he might kind of flick some of it off, but yeah, no, he just sort of lives with it.
At one point when he brushes at it, Rollo looks down and realizes what's happening, and she kind of tucks her arm around the snow cone and tilts it so that's away from him, and starts like trying to suck some of the snow cone out of his shirt.
That's gonna be an experience.
Because she like lifts his shirt. She's kind of draped over his shoulder at this point.
You know what I'm imagining right now? When a cat starts making biscuits and like suckling on a blanket.
Yes. And that is very much what it's like, because she uses one hand and, they're clawed. So she like presses it in on the shirt and like lifts it a little bit and then.
So at this point, you have barely entered the park. There is the big top a little ways ahead of you. You can see off to your right where some of this sort of lazy river drifts in and around. There's a carousel. You can see a little further on, there's what appear to be very large dragonflies that people are riding around on. There's wonderful smells of food coming from beyond the carousel. To your left, you can see the giant bubble pop teapot that many of these bubbles are drifting around. There's some kind of a what looks like a little roller coaster type thing down to the far left, and more tents all around. Where would you like to go?
I'd like to go to the Hall of Illusions before the end of the day, please.
Right, that sounds interesting. Let's head there, unless anybody else has somewhere you want to go first. Hall of Illusions it is. Okay.
You begin making your way across this particular area. Also,
as they're moving across the carnival, Drown sort of does the older sibling thing where he's kind of like herding everybody and making sure nobody's wandering off on the wrong direction, and just kind of making sure everybody's moving in together.
So Alma is definitely the kind of kid that's like on the back of like the park benches, like walking along them and falling down and scraping his elbows and his knees constantly.
So did the cone count as one of our ticket things?
Nope.
We didn't
I don't
get
think
a
so. We had to
2%
pay for
ticket.
these.
Nobody punched your ticket.
But the Hall of Illusions will.
As
Probably.
you begin, as you make your way over towards this Hall of Illusions tent, you see that just outside the entrance to this tent, there is a glass cabinet nearby. You see inside this glass cabinet is a wooden mannequin, and it looks to be of a grinning, raven-haired young woman that's dressed like a witch and wearing a green flowing cape, and it's just hovering inside the glass cabinet. And on top of the cabinet is a sign that says, Tasha the Wizard, known for her hideous laughter.
Oh, I know her.
You
I
see,
know of her.
standing in front of the cabinet is a halfling couple. They're holding hands as they walk up towards it, and one of the halflings is wearing butterfly face paint. And as they get close, he suddenly pulls something out of his pocket and drops to one knee and holds this little box out in front of her. And she looks at him, and from several feet away, you can just hear her just burst into laughter. And she just begins rolling on the floor and pointing at him, rolling around on the ground. And this halfling just looks at her, and in stark contrast to this brightly colored butterfly paint on his face, you see the paint starting to streak as tears begin to pour out of his face, and he just... and he turns and he runs into the Hall of Illusions.
I don't think he knows what hideous laughter does.
Yeah, maybe we should go tell him.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. Oh dear. And I assume the girl, the woman, is still laughing.
Yep, she's rolling around, laughing. She's just... oh my!
Right. Well, then I will kind of double time it to the Hall of Illusions to go find him with Rollo.
I'll go up to her and see if I can pull her away from like direct her away from standing in front of the thing.
I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
There it is.
Whoop!
17.
Well, that's
As you get closer, you just can't help but be amused by this halfling rolling around on the ground, and you get just one little bit of a just a little bit of a laugh slips out, but you
right.
manage to
Aren't you
stifle
easily
the
amused?
laughter. Yes, he is easily amused.
Ah,
So
that look.
but you well succeeded the wisdom save needed. So you are now standing in front of this halfling woman.
So I will try to get in between, and maybe even though I'm short, she's a halfling. Maybe I can break her line of sight of this thing and direct her away from it, so that I might be able to repair this situation.
I'm gonna have you make a. Just make a persuasion check. And do so at advantage.
This has never been Thorgarn's cup of tea. Oh, wow. A 19 and a 16 on the die.
All right. Yeah, you managed to sort of it's almost like you're moving a I don't know how else to describe this, like a yoga ball. She's kind of this ball of laughter, and you're just sort of kind of directing her, and she kind of just rolling on the ground, more seeming to avoid running into you. And after about 5 feet or so of this, she's suddenly just laying on her stomach, and she's pounding the ground, going, oh, I don't know what came over me. Oh, I haven't laughed like that in quite some time. Oh dear. Oh dear. Where is Reuben gone? Where's Reuben?
I just point towards the Hall of Illusion.
But why ever would he go in there?
You laughed at him. I don't think you liked it.
No. Oh dear. I didn't mean to. I got too close to that. And I just couldn't help it. I started laughing. Oh, he's such a sweet man, and I've embarrassed him. Oh,
I'm sure you can correct it.
would you be a dear and see? Could you go in there and see if you could find him?
My friends ran in to go get him.
Oh, that's wonderful. Who all went inside the Hall of Illusions? I know Rollo and Brown. Talmud. And if Talmud went, then I guess that means Fig's going.
Yeah.
Unless you decide to drop off of Talmud's shoulders.
No, Fig is having such a wonderful time.
So are you going to stay out here with the halfling?
Sure. I mean, I wanted to see what's in the illusions, but I still got to be a good person here.
She's asked you to go, so if you wanted to go.
Oh, sure. I'll absolutely go in then.
All right.
I'll run and try and catch up.
And she just stands there in typical video game fetch quest fashion, just standing there with like an exclamation point above her head, waiting for you to return. As you all head into the Hall of Illusion, you see that the tent itself, as you get close to it, you all notice that it's the murals that are painted onto the tent are constantly shifting. They show grinning fairies diving into pools of bright colors, and they'll splatter out and turn into each splash of water turns into a myriad more fairies, and they begin transforming into other shapes. And anywhere that the tents look like they're converging into like the tops of the tents, it's almost disorienting to look at, because all of these stripes are swirling and spinning as if in constant motion. But as you walk up in front, you see that there is a clown standing in front of you, but his entire costume, his wings, his hat, everything is black and white.
Hey, we match.
Hello. Did you happen to see a distraught halfling running in through here?
Oh my god, he's a mime.
The black and white figure looks at you and kind of cocks his head, and he says,
Okay. Saw the crying. That way? Great. Thank you.
It's nothing like miming on a stream.
right? As you say thank you and sort of turn, he just hooks one finger into the back of your shirt.
Oh.
And he holds up a ticket punch.
Oh, right. Sorry. Here you go.
And he will punch each of your tickets as you prepare to head inside.
As Talmud presents his, he does so miming pulling one out of his pocket and holding it out.
You don't hold your ticket out, you pretend to hold the ticket out?
Mm-hmm.
he looks at you and puts his hands on his hips and kind of gives you this exaggerated stern look. And then he suddenly goes,
All right, get your actual ticket out now before security comes.
He pulls this other ticket out, kind of grumbling and like.
as you
presents
pull
it to the
your
clown.
actual ticket out, he goes and takes your ticket and punches it. I kid you not, the text for this character says, "Here's a fantastic opportunity to explore your hidden talents as a mime."
Thought they were just gonna have like a breakout box that's just blank.
That would have been
Peter
brilliant.
paraphrased the following blank box.
Rollo
Like the old invisible
pulls out
stalker.
her ticket and holds it out.
And this figure looks at you and takes your ticket and punches it. And then looking, since you're sitting on Drown's shoulder, just kind of looks back up at you, Drown. And he's a very thin man. He's probably a little bit taller than you are, Drown. And he kind of looks at you, and you see him looking at you with this. He's been doing all these pantomimes and stuff, but he has sort of there's a sadness in his eyes that you can see up close. And he kind of taps your shoulder and suddenly takes on, like, starts wringing his hands and kind of drawing circles on the ground with his foot, like looking like he wants to ask you something, but he's
I was
afraid
gonna say,
to.
do you want to ask us something? All right, you're going to be right here, right? You're not going anywhere. Okay, we need to find the halfling. Then we'll be right back to talk to you. Okay. Great. Let's go. Get your tickets punched.
All right, you all have your tickets punched, and you head inside the Hall of Illusions. And that is where we're going to take our break. A couple minutes early.
Fun house. Fun house.
As we head on in.
This is great.
This is so much fun.
I'm loving this.
My character has a 6 intelligence instead of his normal 8.
I have a
So
6
I'm sure
wisdom.
this is going
Babies
to
are
go
adorable.
Yeah,
so
I have a
well.
6 wisdom too.
I have a 6 strength.
I'm wondering, is anybody tracking how many attractions the Dawnbringers make it through? Since normally we see how many rooms they can make
How
it
many
through in a
rooms
stream.
now it'll be attractions?
All right, well, we are going to take about a 10-minute break, and we will be back with more of the wild beyond the WitchLight. So stick around, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Is it boobs?
And we're back. I don't know what you just said, but I don't think it went out.
Okay, good.
Oh,
I really hope
All
you
right,
did.
just
I
something getting frosted. It's all
You
good.
said something before I hit the unmute button, so I don't think anybody heard what you said.
Okay.
Let's just wonder if they can read lips.
Just carry on. We're good.
Everything's fine.
Nothing to see here, as our group of children heads into
Players and characters.
yes. As you all head into the Hall of Illusions, as you step through the entrance, you immediately see that this motif of brightly colored, almost like everything's illuminated by black light. These fluorescent colors are constantly shifting and changing on the interior walls, but it just seems to be magnified 100-fold as you walk into this space and you see a maze of mirrors. And as you head in, Drown, you were the first one, I believe, to head into the Hall of Illusions. I would like you to make me make me an investigation check.
Oh, bless your heart. That I at least have a non-negative number in. Hey, pretty good. 16.
All right. So you can, as you step in, you sort of see this space where the mirrors and the way things are reflecting, you're able to discern where the gap is that there are no mirrors, indicating the path as
Right.
your group begins to head further in. Everybody make me a perception check.
You.
Where's Cantriel when we need her?
Right?
He's surveying in the Glenda bubble.
I don't know how
Fine, she still sees it.
I was gonna say I don't know how
Yes.
perceptive Lil Cantriel is.
I do not
I believe
see
he
it.
was lamenting that her passive perception was only in the high teens. So I rolled a 19, giving me a 17 on the perception check.
Okay.
I rolled a 6.
Okay.
Boy.
I rolled a 5, so I got a 7.
Wait a minute.
11.
I also got a 17.
Okay. So Talmud and Drown, which it's convenient that means that Rollo and Fig are also able to sort of find the correct path, continuing along through this, all of these mirrors reflecting these bright colors. But Thorgarn, you turn to follow, and thunk, you walk right into the mirror.
I'm clumsy as well, so I imagine not only do I walk into it, I also fall on my ass again.
As you're picking yourself up off the floor, you see your reflection seems to be struggling harder than you are to get up off the floor. What does this reflection of an extremely elderly Thorgard look like?
An elderly Thorgard. So I would say, like, if we're going to comically old, the hair is completely gone up top. Maybe a straggle a little bit, trying to maintain the end of his.
You got a rat tail.
Yeah, end of his mohawk with a rat tail. Beard incredibly thin, but what's there is still has some length to it. Where he was, strong and athletic, now the muscles have faded away. The scars that are all over his body, the tattoos are all over his body, or have faded and blend in with the wrinkles and pockmarks and what have you.
The elderly Thorgarn looks at you and then just points in a direction.
I'll go in that direction.
You find that you're able to just see a little bit further on your friends heading around a corner, disappearing behind the mirrors. You will be making your next check at disadvantage. The rest of you, as you traverse this first hallway, describe to me what aquatic animals your reflections resemble.
Okay, well, Drowns is probably something along the lines of sort of a dark, difficult to make out mirror with squid-like tentacles, sort of, or octopus-like arms, sort of writhing through it.
Every once in a while, you swear one of the tentacles actually extends outward from the mirror. What about you, Rollo?
Rollo, her fishy reflection is a, let me see if I can say this, Cynodontidae. It's a lizard fish. It is basically, it looks like a, sort of like an eel a little bit, but it's got little tiny fins, and it's very long, and it has, like jagged little teeth in its mouth. And it's kind of terrifying.
Fig? Dan and I were thinking the same thing.
Y'all are terrible.
And I'm trying to think of one for Fig.
As you're thinking of that, Rollo, your little lizard fish is, because you're on Drowned Shoulder, you just see every once in a while these tentacles. One of them will sort of slowly reach towards, and then your little lizard fish reflection will just scurry out of the way.
Oh, it is so cute. It is like scary version of Rollo.
Talmud?
So I think Talmud sees a version of himself that looks like a mud skipper. Its fins are like these little like prodigal legs, and like he's constantly trying to get out of the water and onto the fucking dry land.
I think the way this is reflected, pun intended, is your reflection is constantly trying to get out of the mirror, and you just keep hearing this tung, 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 tung as it's thumping up against the glass, trying to skip out. Big, got something?
Yes, I thought of one. I imagine Fig looks at above this panicking mud skipper is a little cuttlefish who is kind of glowing all of these different blues and colors, and has this kind of light show going across its little frills that they have. And their tiny little like arms, tentacles are just kind of flitting out.
And there's even a little reflection of Hermes that looks like one of those aquarium divers. You just see this little aquarium diver, and just all of a sudden he kind of floats up a little bit, and then you hear tuk, 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 his bubbles come out, and he just sinks, and then he comes back up, and tuk, 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 tuk. From somewhere further within the mirrors, you hear, how could she? Somebody is crying. I would like you all to make perception checks again.
No, this is a
And yours
disadvantage.
is at disadvantage, Talmud. Ah, damn it! I made it so long without doing it.
Wow.
Thorgard.
I am not rolling good tonight. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
gonna burn a domain die. Which, Jake, I don't know if you noticed it, but we got a Prime sub before the break.
Oh, I did not. Oh, Devin
So you could
Rue subbed.
could
Thank
break
you.
even.
Devin!
Thank you so much. So I will put that one up just so we can see the magic. So I can just take it away so you can use it. I like the butterflies.
They're so pretty.
Fair enough. All right,
I
so
love
that
the
gets me a
animation.
13.
Sorry.
Okay, so you got a 13. Fig got a 10. Thorgarn got a 4. Talmud?
I got a 5.
And what did you end up with, Rollo?
A 4. A scholarly 4.
Okay.
Is that because you're studying the mirror and not the direction we're supposed to be looking?
Rollo is actually grappling with the snow cone again. And she's gotten through a chunk of it, but she's having to like stick her face into it to eat the snow cone. And she's got eye freeze.
Is that because it's partially melted to drown, robes?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's like sticking to him.
So
He's reptilian too. That's bad news.
It's so cold.
all of you, as you're attempting to find your way through, Drown, you, tunk, you turn, tunk, everywhere you turn, you're walking into mirrors.
Damn it.
All of you seem to have lost the path. Rollo. The mirror you are suddenly looking into, you see a reflection of yourself as a great white dragon. Who or what is slaying you in this reflection?
She is being slain by a large number of charred corpses as her former party members that she was unable to protect from her fireball spells have come back to slay her.
That is very good, and I'm going to do two things. I'm going to give you inspiration for that, because that ties hardcore into your past, but I'm also going to make you make a wisdom saving throw.
That's fair. Okay, 15. Okay,
you're able to keep yourself from this image. You're able to discern that this is just a reflection. It's a what if. It doesn't completely incapacitate you with despair. You're able to make that distinction.
She claws at the glass and just tries to scratch it up.
And you just get exactly what you would expect. Claws on glass. It's just very smooth. A bit of
horrendous
that
noise,
tinking
but
sound.
nothing happens.
Yep. And
Jeremy.
You can still hear from somewhere this sobbing sound. And then you hear, oh, have you come to help me? I need everybody to make another perception check, and Rollo, you will be doing so at disadvantage.
That's fair. That's a 7.
18 for Thorgarn.
All right.
Unless
I'm not used to you rolling like this, Ted.
Oh, I've doubled my perception bonus, so
14 for Drown.
Okay. And Talmud.
Talmud got a 3.
Okay. Drown and the others, you notice as Thorgarn, you were able to push past the others, and Drown, much to your chagrin perhaps, Thorgarn pushes past you, and where you are certain you just smacked into a mirror, Thorgarn walks right past into the clear path.
Come on. All right.
Now, I don't know if Thorgarn would push past. You probably would be like, excuse me, pardon me, or, wait until Drown
as Thorgarn politely slides by you. Talmud, you see as the others kind of pick up following Thorgarn, and they're able to make it through this passageway as you try to follow right on the heels of Drown and Rollo, Talmud, and now, of course, you have Fig on your shoulders still. You smack into the mirror. As you watch, like a window, you watch them walking away from you. What? As you see Drown with Rollo on his shoulders, What classic dungeon trap do they fall prey to? Do you see them fall prey to?
So I think it's them walking forwards, and all of a sudden, one of the mirrors actually begins to move and come to life and turns into the mouth of a mimic and just swallows them whole, like with the shards of like mirror forming the teeth of this creature as it just like.
And its eyes and its face are made up of the distorted reflections of Rollo and Drown. Fig, I'm gonna say you rolled low enough. You're seeing sort of like looking through, like you're looking through dirty glass. You see something is happening, but you don't see with detail what this is. How do you react to it, Talmud? Seeing your friends devoured by a mirror mimic.
I think at first he screams, and then there's a part of him that kind of takes over, and he actually starts to like, and he starts to laugh uncontrollably.
Okay. You, as you're laughing, I just imagine this when you're laughing and you try to brace yourself, and you just go to put a hand maybe on the mirror to kind of, or what looks like a window to stabilize yourself. Your hand just goes through and you sort of stumble forward. There's no glass there. It's just a passageway, and you, as you pass through it, you see Rollo and Drown perfectly fine, just disappearing around a corner.
His laughing intensifies.
The rest of you can hear this wild laughter coming from behind you from Talmud. Thorgarn, you're in the lead, and with that last roll, you step around the corner and you find yourself in what looks to be the center of the Hall of Illusions. There's mirrors all the way around, and you see this halfling man standing in front of this mirror. In the mirror, standing next to him, you see what looks to be a figure of a little girl with what is either the face of or a mask of a pig.
I don't like that.
And she's whispering into his reflection's ear. And he says, "Really? Oh, that would be wonderful. Please,
Do not make any
take me to them."
No, do not make
And you see he holds out his hand, and his reflection is also reaching up. And then you see this figure of this girl reach through and grasp his hand, and you watch as the halfling steps into the mirror. The figure of the girl looks at all of you and just goes, and they turn. And as they step through, you just hear this tink, ting, 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 as something falls to the floor in the center of the tent. What do you do?
Picking up the ring.
There's no fooling Thorgarn.
Maybe not. Maybe you can fool Thorgarn. I think Ted's got it though.
Yeah, Thorgarn,
We were all there, and it just happened too fast for us to react to it or do anything.
you step forward and
Can I embellish a little?
sure.
So he reaches out his hand and she reaches out hers, and Rollo launches herself off Drown's shoulder and starts trying to fly over there. And again, the wings start out, and they're flapping at the same time, but then something happens and they are not flapping quite right, and she just smacks into a mirror and slides down it slowly with that noise.
Snow cone smear. Just
Yeah, and there's just like a smear of like snow cone going down the mirror.
Absolutely. And Thorgarn, you do find this ring lying on the ground that very clearly looks like it was intended to be an engagement ring.
Oh no.
So, I kind of told her that we were going to go get her friend. Now what?
You're muted, Dan.
Am I? Because
No,
I'm
you're
not
not.
muted. Okay, yeah, I was definitely not muted. Well, I guess now we go tell her that he disappeared into a mirror.
Could we
Uh,
try to follow into the mirror and save him?
I mean, you bounced off of it. Do you think we can all kind of walk up and
Oh,
put my
she
hand on the
hit
mirror?
another mirror.
Oh, a
like,
different
off
one.
to the side. Yeah, she just
Oh.
careened
Oh.
off.
Yeah, so is there like, I don't know, yeah, go up and put my hand on the mirror. Is it solid or can I step through it?
It's cold glass.
Dum, dum. Yep, that's more or less what I expected.
Can we ask the silent guy?
I mean, yeah, we sure. I don't know. That
I would like everybody to make a history check.
natural 20, 19.
Oh, nice. Natural 20, 19.
How about a 9?
I can beat you. How about an 8?
Got Fig with a 21.
I have 21.
what were we rolling again?
History,
What was
History.
the roll?
intelligence.
History.
Intelligence.
Ooh, good. So my total, are you ready for this? That's a -1.
Yeah. Nice.
Roll a 1.
Tell
I rolled a
Talmud-
1 and I have a -2.
Not only do you not know the history of what I'm about to tell Fig,
You've
you've forgotten something.
You did know.
You forgot something that you already know.
That tracks.
For just a moment, you don't remember the name of the little robot that's on your shoulders.
Oh, I thought you were going to say my cousin, and then I was going to say, oh, well, now we can both. Never mind.
His name is Thorgarn. No,
Right.
wait. Talmud. No, wait.
Thorgarn. Thorgarn. Talmud.
Darn.
Hey, what about Thormund?
Talgarn.
Torpid.
Talgarn, take me away.
Ancient dwarvish secret, huh?
All right.
I love this game so much.
So
Nobody's dating the shit out of themselves here. Shut up.
oh man. So Fig, you know, kind of thinking back on where you all saw this proposal gone wrong take place, and the mannequin of the little witch, and it said Tasha the wizard, known for her hideous laughter. This has been kind of knocking around in your head, and finally it connected. You know where you know the name Tasha. Tasha, legend has, or stories say, that Tasha was one of the names of Igwilvi, the Witch Queen, a legendary
Igwilv.
archmage. What?
Igwilv.
Igwilv. I literally saw double for a minute there. That's why I stuttered over it. I'm like, I said it and it doesn't sound right. And we all know, if there's one thing I do as a DM, it's get names right.
That tracks.
That is your thing.
Igwilv, the Witch Queen. who is legends do say is a powerful archmage. All right, so
you said that. Sorry, you said that Tasha was another name was Igwil.
Yes.
That Tasha. Okay.
I will, for ease, we'll give you this in the chat. I just imagine whether you say anything or not, this is just the moment where Fig just suddenly pushes up their glasses.
Yeah, I think Fig like takes out, so he has his little tiny spell book that was like at one time was very large and very like thick, and this is just like this tiny little blue notebook.
I was gonna say, what are those black and white composition notebooks?
Yes, yep. And all the pictures inside are like cartoonified. Like they're all the images, all the arcane stuff is just very small and almost like child's drawings. And in very, very messy crayon as he's writing this, he writes down Igwilv to remember for next time.
All right, so we were just talking about, finding the halfling to tell him what happened, and Drown is sort of mulling that over and looking at the ring in Thorgarn's hands and just going, boy, this is gonna break her heart.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't her fault, but she did the same thing.
No, it wasn't her fault at all. All right. Well, we got to tell her, right? We can't just let her wonder and worry.
Well, on the way out, we talked to the silent guy.
Sure. Yeah. We'll talk to him. Didn't catch his name.
Well, kind of didn't give it.
Yeah, that was
He
the.
doesn't talk, so
Never
I
mind.
think his name is Charlie.
What's that? His name's Charlie?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
All right, so what are you going to do?
Follow the right wall back to the beginning.
I go.
Damn it!
I'm just teasing.
All right. Well, you'll get there eventually. It's fine.
As soon as you make the decision that you're ready to leave, you notice that you turn to start walking, and all of the mirrors seem to have turned away and are no longer reflecting, and you see a clear path that leads to the exit.
Oh, nice.
And
That's
you are
convenient.
able to walk on out.
We'll make for the mime, Mr. Mime.
All
Charlie.
right. So he's standing there in his full colorless garb as he looks at all of you, and he makes a point of pointing at each one of you like he's counting. And then when the last one of you comes through, he keeps looking.
The halfling man disappeared into a mirror. There was a little girl wearing a pig mask. We heard him crying, and I think she told him something, offered him something, and he went with her into the mirror. We couldn't follow. Don't say it.
Oh no! Don't talk about it.
I mean, nothing happened whatsoever.
First word.
His fiance partner is out there wondering what happened to him. I mean, we gotta tell her what happened, right? Us out there, not in here. No, maybe.
We have to go tell her.
We have to go? No.
No?
First syllable sounds like.
Well, all right. Before we do that, you had something you wanted to ask, right?
Your voice?
Voice?
Someone stole your voice.
Wow. Yeah. Huh.
Oh,
That
do you
sucks.
know
Any
who
idea
took
who?
Was it the pig, the person wearing the pig mask inside the mirror?
Okay. All right. Do you know? Sorry. Did you know who took it? A bird.
Fairy.
Bird. Hummingbird. Writing. Writing. Counting. Counting.
We
Right. Pen. Yeah, with
write
a pen.
down.
Writing.
Oh, yes, I have stuff to write.
And I hand him a
Oh,
piece
you
of
wanna write?
parchment and a quill.
Got it. Good thinking, Rollo. I thought we were still playing charades.
So you pull out writing utensil and
Trying to
parchment.
figure out what a writing bird was.
Writing.
Tonight's episode of Dawnbringers is brought to you by Weird Al's song, She Never Told Me She Was a Mime.
So you hand over this parchment and you hand over the quill and ink and he kind of leans against one of the little sideboard areas and just starts rapidly, but in a very beautiful script, just starts scrawling. And anybody who is looking can actually follow along if somebody's watching. He's sort of holding it so you can see. As what he begins to write is, my name is Candlefoot. Candlefoot the Mime. I know, right? And he goes on to
Nice
say
to meet you, Candlefoot.
that the reason he looks all glum and gray is because years ago he was in service to a sorcerer and it was a hazard of the job that he lost all of his color through magic. But since going to work here at the WitchLight Carnival, he met the most amazing person with the most beautiful voice, the mermaid Palasha. And whenever I hear her sing, the color comes back to my eyes, to my hair, to my cheeks and my clothes. But as soon as her song ends, I turn back into this. I had planned to propose to her when an annoying little Kenku named Kettlesteam stole my voice.
Kangu. Man, this place is murder on romance.
You're telling me, he writes.
Yeah.
If
All
you
right,
can help me get my voice back from Kettlesteam, I can actually propose to Palasha.
I'm in. I mean, I'm all the way in. The poor halflings just had their dreams shattered, and maybe we can help at least.
As
put
you
this
say
back
that,
together.
you see that she's kind of standing off to the side about 20 feet away, clutching
Oh,
a
she's, like,
hanky
right
and just
there?
kind of looking hopefully at all of you.
Oh no.
Rollo will go talk to her.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
And
Yes.
Rollo climbs
Hey,
down.
Rollo. You are an incredible soul, and I know you're going to bring some light into this terrible dark day for her. And kind of pats Rollo's little claw, and I will give you a bardic inspiration.
Ooh.
It's a D6.
I am
that you
all
can
tricked
burn
out for
to
this
add to your roll.
conversation. Let's do this.
All right, so as the rest of the party is finalizing the details with Candlefoot Rollo, you head over on your own to the halfling woman.
What is your name?
I'm sorry. My name is Ween Sundapple.
Miss Sundavil, you have had a very hard day.
Did you find Reuben?
Rollo is sorry, but Reuben was convinced to go through a mirror with someone in the Hall of Illusions, and he vanished.
Surely you just didn't find him. He's in there somewhere, yes?
We saw him. We were almost to him, and she said something to him, and he said okay, and he got up.
He went into the Hall of Mirrors with another woman?
She wasn't. She wasn't pretty princess. She was actually scary looking.
Why would my Reuben go away with someone? Why? I knew we should never have come to this carnival.
Well,
I've lost my true love because of the magic of this place. I never want to come to this place again. As she says this, you hear thunder from nearby clouds that have started to gather. And you see a few people around you looking around. In that same moment, you notice, Rollo, that just a little ways past you, where the two gnomes have set up the snow cone shop that you bought from, they're already making improvements to their little place, and you see one of them is going dook dook dook, and it hits the hand of the other one that as he's holding the sign, and he goes, bless it all, I told you to watch what you're doing with that. I'm gonna punch you in the face, you do that again. And you start to notice all around you little tiny arguments are breaking out.
Rollo reaches her hands up to Ween and just kind of holds them like she's waiting for her to put her hand in them.
Miss Sundapple?
Make a persuasion check.
Hey, I'm gonna use my inspiration to re-roll that 0. And I will take the 16, but I'm gonna add a D8 to it.
Yes, you got the D8.
Yeah, so that's gonna be 16 plus 7, 24.
Well, and she rolled a 1 to resist. So, it's weird to think that with your 0, I could have still beat you with a 1.
I know.
She kind of looks at you reluctantly as she's trembling, and she seems just more taken with the gesture, and just puts her hands in yours. And she does for a moment. She kind of goes, "Oh dear, fingers are so sticky."
Sorry, Miss Sundapple.
Yes.
Sometimes life gives us complicated things, and it's not easy to see that happiness is ahead. But as long as you stay faithful, Rollo is sure that your heart will bring him home.
I can only hope that you know what you're
Background.
talking about, little one.
In the background, Drown leans over and says, Thorgarn, maybe you should give her the ring back.
I will kind of mosey on over to the conversation and like, do you want to hold on to this until we can find him?
I do, but I cannot accept that ring from you. I can't take that ring unless Reuben is offering it to me.
Well, I mean, he offered it once, and I could put it on the ground and you could pick it up, so it's not me giving it to you.
Rollo turns around and looks at everybody.
Well, I think we have a quest.
Everybody make an insight check.
9.
14.
22?
Baby fig.
1.
10.
As Rollo says, maybe we have a quest, Thorgarn. You suddenly have this flash of very cold, dark, blizzardy winds. You see a flash of the shattered half of a ship. You see another flash of frozen fingers reaching, grasping up from the snow as the snow falls and begins to cover them. And then you see this flash of white as an ancient dragon flies past, and then suddenly, and you kind of start as this vision, and you remember something about a quest to save the survivors of the Evangeline. Something you've forgotten about to this point in your childlike state.
Rollo, I think we already have a quest. Aren't we supposed to be finding our fellow ship people?
Can't just leave her like this.
Well,
They have true love.
Little one, if it's meant to be, Reuben will find his way to me. And if you can find him, give him his ring and tell him that I will be waiting.
We will do that.
I'm going to go to the only place that I know of that can make me not feel this way. Thank you. And she kind of pulls her hand away from yours, and it kind of sticks for a moment from all the snow cone syrup.
Oh, wait.
And Rollo takes her hand and like licks the snow cone off it, and then takes her. She's got like a little, like, cross the chest loincloth thing, and she takes the skirt of it and wipes off the spit.
Thank you. That's so much better. And you see as she just looks at you, and she turns and deliberately walks over to the Tasha the Wizard chest and leans against it, and she slumps down and succumbs to the Tasha's hideous laughter spell. As she's sitting there, you see her slumped against the cart just going Reuben.
Wow. Yeah, we gotta find her fiance. That is not healthy.
so is there anyone else that we could ask? I don't think it's all that right that an attraction is sucking people inside.
Well, I don't
Find Kettlestein.
I don't think that was the attraction.
I think that was something else. I
Right.
don't think that was the carnival.
Yeah, I think it was whoever that little girl was. That was the problem there. Maybe we should see about getting Candlefoot his voice back. He seems to be pretty knowledgeable about everything that's happening here. Maybe he can give us some pointers on who we could talk to or ways we could figure out what's up with that mirror.
Should we start?
Well, we're looking for Kenku. They're bird people, right?
Yes.
Have we seen any bird people?
Giant crows.
Make an investigation check if you're suddenly looking around.
Yeah, take a look around. Any crow people in the vicinity? Ooh,
4.
16. Sorry, 18. That's a +1.
Oh no, Rollo got more snow cone on you.
And I rolled an 8, so she is distracted trying to clean Drown's shoulder.
Yep, that's fine.
Talmud,
I'm gonna get a 6.
what did you get, Thorgarn?
4.
Okay.
He's not very good at investigating. Like, he starts looking, but he gets distracted by all the things that are far more amusing than they should be.
So where you're all standing on the Hall of Illusions, just outside of it, and it'd be off to the right side of it. If you look at your map, you can actually see next to that light pole is where the Tasha's glass stand is. So that's kind of where you're at. Fig, you notice across the thoroughfare in the direction of the Pixie Kingdom that there is a half-elven woman that is leaning. They have one foot up on a park bench, and they're like leaned over like they're tying their shoe. But you notice that their shoes have buckles. And Drown, you notice over in the direction of the big top, there is a halfling man, rather portly, with bib overalls and smoking a pipe, kind of peering at you through his pipe smoke. And when you see him, he goes and takes off running in the direction of the carousel. The rest of you don't notice anything.
That halfling was eyeballing us. He's making for the carousel. Should we chase him?
I think at that same time, I think Fig like pats on Talmud's head and points to the lady, and then points to his feet and points back at the lady.
Yeah, and Talmud is off like a flash.
Right. You know what? Wisdom 6. Drown is taking off after the halfling.
Sooner or later, you were going to split this party. All right,
the
so
perfect child thing to do.
I see
Get him.
Fig directing Talmud, heading over to the half-elven woman. Rollo, you are standing there with Thorgarn now as Drown takes off in the completely other direction.
On Drown's shoulder.
Yep.
I went back to his shoulder.
Oh, okay.
Remember, I was cleaning his shoulder off.
All right, well then, yeah, you're with Drown. So Thorgarn, you're left standing there as your friends all take off in different directions.
Split.
So he would go in a direction not with Talmud.
Okay. So, Fig and Talmud, you approach the half-elven woman. Talmud, you said you were running over there?
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, this half-elven woman jumps up onto the bench and actually steps up onto the back of the bench and is kind of balancing and does what looks like the Karate Kid crane kick pose. Don't come any closer! I know arts of a martial kind.
As he gets closer, he kind of like pulls up to a stop, kind of like narrows one eye, and he reaches back and he grabs that foam Gertabrone off of his back and pulls it out. And as he does so, he reaches down and he flips a small little switch that you can't see. and this like electric battery powered looking lightning bolt like appears up the side of the hammer, and it makes this kind of bzzz, kind of like electric noise.
I absolutely love that. Fig, what are you doing? Are you saying anything to her, doing anything?
No, Fig has his biggest stern face on and has his arms crossed as Talmud has this sword, and Fig is just like, yeah, you listen.
All right. I'm going to do this now so I don't miss it. Thanks for the raid, Paradise.
Hey.
I'm going to give you all another domain die for that.
Yay.
The half-elven woman looks down at the two of you. All right. These are not toys. They're unlicensed lethal weapons, but I'm going to put them away. And she kind of nimbly steps down onto the bench and slides into a sitting position, leans forward with her elbow on her knee and says, "Now what have I done to piss off 2 children?"
Fig points very accusingly at her shoes.
Did I step in something? And she kind of holds her foot up. No? I'll say again, why have I angered 2 children?
This might be the first time Fig has said anything. He's been very quiet. You just hear buckles.
Is that their first word? Careful.
Today, I.
Careful. Make sure you enunciate. Put an emphasis on the B, because it's very dangerously close to a word a little mechanical person like you should probably not be saying in polite company. Do you have a problem with my shoes?
Fig gets down, and so Fig is like, I imagine Fig is like, he's toy size, and he just waddles up to the lady who's now sitting and just points even more condemningly at her shoes.
All right. You caught me. Son, it appears as though your little prize, did you win this at one of the carnival games? They've discovered.
He's my friend.
Oh.
Fig is his name.
Fig. As
You do well to remember it.
Well, you caught me, Fig. I was watching you while I was pretending to tie my shoes. Now that you've caught me, what are you going to do?
I think Fig just like raises a finger, and then when she says that, just drops it again, kind of looks back at Talmud, like, and just kind of shrugs.
Yeah, Talmud kind of looks at Fig like this was his whole plan, and like Talmud's like shrugging back.
Let me try a different tactic. Do you have parents here? Supervisors, legal guardians? Are you with a school, a youth group? Somebody.
When she says supervisor, Talmud points to Cantriel's bubble.
You just hear, "Not my responsibility." All right. I was keeping an eye on you. I work here at the carnival. I am one of the WitchLight hands. It's my job to work the booths, handle some of the attractions, and from time to time, keep an eye on the goings-on. And while it's not unusual to see children at a carnival, It's a large group of very peculiar children, completely unattended by adults. Mr. Witch asked me to keep an eye on you. Make sure you weren't getting into any trouble. Does that satisfy you?
Have you seen any bird people?
I'm guessing you're still a few years out from puberty, son. I'm having difficulty understanding what you're saying.
Have you seen any bird people?
I have seen not people, but birds at the swan rides.
Talmud kind of narrows that eye again and then nods like, actually, that makes sense. Kind of looks up to Fig.
Fig wants to see, he points his finger at the ground beside the woman. And you see the dirt begin to kind of shake a little bit until like a little figure stands up from the earth, and it looks like a witch or something, because that's what he heard her. And he points, but like a very cartoony looking figure, being very misshapen, but like with a very pointy hat. And Fig points at it. Mr. Witch.
My, you're a very literal little one. No. Mr. Witch is taller, a bit rounder, less hair.
As she's describing it, you can see the figure is moving as she is.
Now a little bit taller.
Police rendition.
Little more pear-shaped. No. Yes. The nose, little pointier. Ears, little pointier. No hair. No hat, no hair. Well, sometimes a hat. And a pocket watch. There you go. That is very much what Mr. Witch would look like if sculpted by a child.
Fig looks very proud at what he's done, and he just looks and then nods back up at the woman.
Well, I can see that though you don't have any supervision, you seem capable enough. I'll be keeping one eye on you. Try to stay out of trouble. And
Try not to trip on your shoelaces.
she puts one finger on her nose and points the other at you as she very expertly suddenly stands up and does a backflip so that she is standing on the back of the bench. She takes sort of a Pratt stumble, if you will, a fake stumble across like she's going to fall. And she turns, looks at both of you, and just goes, and she falls backwards into the bush and just vanishes. And with that, we're going to cut over to Drown and Rollo, with Thorgarn kind of following behind, heading off in the direction where you saw this halfling. Drown, make a investigation check.
All right. Oh, dirty 20.
You get over by the big top where you saw this halfling man, and you immediately catch the scent of black cherry pipe tobacco.
Aha, he was smoking.
And you look over towards where the entry to the area where the carousels are. And in there you see, peeking out from behind one of the stalls, you see this halfling poke his head out, and just sort of this pipe is in the corner of his mouth, and as he's peering at you, you just see this cloud of smoke. It sort of obscures him, and then when it dissipates, he's gone.
Like he ducked back into the tent.
He's sort of peering out from behind one of those stalls to the right of the entrance, and it's like he either ducked in or used the smoke just to obscure him heading off somewhere.
Right.
I'm gonna say though, with that dirty 20 that you got on the investigation, as the smoke clears, you see about 15 feet away this little halfling going running further in along the little river in there.
Going after him.
All right.
Hang on, Rollo.
Thorgarn, you kind of catch up and you're following behind. So now both of you, or actually all three of you, can make investigation checks with advantage as you're heading around that area.
Ooh.
All right. Well, the advantage turns the 0 into a 7.
All right.
All right, I'm going to burn a domain die. 15.
All right. And Rollo, what did you do? What'd you get? You're muted.
Katie, but I think that was a 5.
Yeah, I rolled a 1 for a 5.
A 1 would be a -1 for me, so I'm not much help here.
You...
Actually, can I use a domain die? I would like to roll something in the double digits.
Yeah, you can absolutely. You've got 172 of
I
them.
would like to use a
With
domain
the
die,
Avenger
and that's
being-
a 16. I feel
There we
better.
go.
So, Thorgarn, as you head into this area, Rollo and Drown kind of take a step over towards the right where this halfling man went. And as they step towards there's suddenly there's a small procession of carnival folk carrying big bundles of balloons that get in your way. And they block you for a moment. And then when they pass by, suddenly you see, it seems like almost every other person in this area of the crowd is about 5 foot tall, roughly grayish greenish skin or grayish blue skin like Drown. And they all are carrying some sort of stuffed animal over their shoulder. So it suddenly looks like there's half a dozen or more Drown and Rollo combinations. You're not sure which one is the right one. The real Drown and Rollo, you find yourself following this halfling man over in the direction of the carousel.
I wander after a random one of them. Drown, roll a d8 for me.
What? Sorry, D8?
Yeah, roll a d8. Cardinal
I've
direction.
rolled a D8. Did you want to know the result? Sorry.
Yes.
4.
All right. I am not following him.
Okay.
Damn it.
Thorgarn,
Following the wrong leg, kid.
roll me a d4.
Not your dad.
A d4, huh?
Not your dad.
I have a 1.
A 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll come to you in a moment.
Sure.
Drown and Rollo. You you see the halfling man rush past a brightly colored a woman wearing bright colors, bright blues and purples on her torso, and across her back she has a lovely blue and gold saddle, and she has gold jewelry twining in her tail and above her hooves. and gold trims her. I've suddenly lost the word for that thing that women wear around their waist.
Corset.
Corset. Thank you. I completely forgot the word. And she has these beautiful blue and black butterfly wings strapped to her back. You see as she just punches the ticket of this halfling man who disappears towards the carousel. What do you do?
Not breaking stride and fumbling for my ticket. Rollo, get your ticket out. We'll kind of skid to a halt and come on.
She kind of looks at you. Well,
I don't mean to be rude, but I'm following that halfling. Come on.
All right. She punches you tickets and says,
Thank you.
Find a unicorn and take a seat.
Unicorn, got it.
So you get over to the carousel, and you see that all of the horses are unicorns. They're brightly colored, and you have your pick of any of them you want. You can see as you move up to the carousel, this halfling man is on the other side, trying to stay opposite you. You're up on the platform now. What do you do?
Okay, we go opposite directions. And pinch him.
Good idea. Let's get him.
All right, which one goes left?
I'll go left.
Yep.
Rollo goes left, which is also the direction that the unicorns are facing. And
oh no, I'm going to be treadmilling it.
It's better the person with the long legs does the treadmill.
Drown, you start heading off to the right. And you hear, as you both start to make your way around, you hear, everybody please pick a unicorn. And the whole carousel lurches. Not enough to make you lose your step or anything. But you just feel that first bit of movement, and you hear the first bits of dun, 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 as the music starts up, and as it starts picking up speed, more and more sounds of the carousel music sort of join in. Drown and Rollo, as you're heading in opposite directions, both of you make me perception checks.
I've been doing so well on him tonight.
That's a
hey,
dirty
I roll
one.
at disadvantage. Because it's a bright sunny day. So that's a 3. I'd like to use a domain die.
I will say it is not a bright sunny day because storm clouds moved in.
Oh.
And there's the threat of a storm on the horizon now.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
When you were talking to the halfling woman.
Hang on.
She said she never wants to come back here again.
But I will say, you also notice.
18.
Okay. So, Rollo, you notice that the music is just slightly off key. You also
that's going to
notice.
drive Rollo into anxiety.
You also notice that the unicorns on the carousel all around you are moving. Not just with the carousel, but they're sort of turning their heads, looking at you. Their manes are flowing and their tails are flowing. Drown, as you're heading off to the right, you just catch sight of the halfling as he clambers up onto the back of a teal-colored unicorn with a golden horn and purple and pink tail and mane. And then you just walk right into the front haunches of one of the unicorns that blocks your path.
Excuse me.
Watch where you are going.
Sorry.
Please. It is dangerous for you to be walking on a moving ride. Please, take a seat. Oh, don't sit on her. She's haughty. Have a seat on my back, says the other unicorn right near you. Behind, just a little bit past them, you hear, no, don't go with either of them. Choose me. I'm the best unicorn here.
You guys are confusing me a little bit. I'll be right back. So if I keep moving, does the unicorn that the halfling got on, are we just going to kind of like head towards each other?
As you start moving, because you're moving in the opposite direction, yes. Very quickly, it will move past you.
The fool.
It will take you a moment to extricate yourself from the tangle of unicorns vying for your attention. But you manage to do so, and you take just a few steps, and you find that you are moments away from having the halfling man on the unicorn move right past you. Rollo, you are approaching from the other direction. You're moving a little bit slower because you're basically walking with the direction of the rotation, but because of your role, you kind of see your way through these unicorns, and you come around on the other side, and you find yourself probably about 10 feet behind. So there's, I'll say, one unridden unicorn between you and where this halfling sits with his back to you, and you see Drown quickly approaching from the other direction.
Okay. I'm going to run next to the unicorn.
Excuse me.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Yes, Rollo is tiny. I have a favor to ask. I need to catch that man. Can you help me?
I will do my best.
Oh, you are wonderful.
Hop on.
My name is Rollo.
Hello, Rollo.
And I will clamber up onto its back.
All right. You clamber up onto its back and roll me a quick perception check. I'll say at advantage.
Oh, okay. Come on. Oh, yeah. Dirty 20.
You see that as you get on this unicorn's back, it is a pale blue unicorn with bright pink mane and tail, and it has on its saddle, when you get on it, there's a name tag that says PR, and then there's 3 blanks, and you see the unicorn next to it has a name tag that says that it's Fall.
Fall?
Yes.
F-A-L-L.
Yep. Right. Hold on, Rollo. And this unicorn leans forward and starts making galloping motions. And we cut over to Drown. You see you are moments away from passing by, or rather, he's going to pass by you. What are you going to do?
So these are moving like a normal carousel, right? Like the ring that everything is on is moving. So if I were
Correct.
to say stop next to one of the unicorns, I stay relative to it, right?
Correct.
Right. So I'm just going to go up to his horse and stop and be like, hey.
As you stand next to him and say, hey, he grabs hold of the reins and he starts going, sha, sha. And you see the unicorn he's on just going right next to you. And he's looking at you and he's just like,
Like I say, is he like coming off of the pole?
Oh, he's not going
or-
anywhere. In the
Okay,
same way
great.
that you see behind him with like a full length of unicorn behind him, you see Rollo also leaned over and not going anywhere. You've got that look on your face. What are you about to do?
I'm wondering if I have figured out this unicorn's name. Does pride come before the fall?
Do you say that out loud?
Does pride come before the fall?
You've guessed my name.
Ah! It is nice to meet you, Pride.
It is nice to meet you, Rollo. Hold on.
Okay.
And the air shimmers around you, and you trade places with the unicorn you're on, trades places with the unicorn that was in front of you, and you are now immediately behind the halfling and his unicorn.
Pride, you are spectacular.
Why, thank you.
Can I jump to the other unicorn from where I am?
Yes,
I'm
you
gonna
can
jump.
certainly try.
I want to try to jump onto his unicorn.
Make an athletics or acrobatics check.
Okay, we're gonna go acrobatics because
Feel that acrobatics check coming on.
18.
Nice.
Okay. A bit of the magic of the whatever happened when you guessed Pride's name lingers as you defy the laws of physics and you leap, and for a moment you seem to just inertia carries you along with this horse, and it looks like you're about to start to drift backwards, and then you find yourself suddenly on the back of this unicorn, immediately behind the halfling, with Drown right next to you, looking at this halfling with a stern look, who's just going, come on, this,
Jump onto his back.
what is, get out, what are you doing?
My name is Rollo. What's yours?
Why are you chasing me, Rollo?
Why are you running from us? Why are you staring at us?
Why are you following me everywhere I go?
I want to be your friend.
I don't believe you.
I just met you, but I want to be everybody's friend.
That is true, she does.
Okay. You've caught me. What are you going to do with me now?
I want to know why you were staring at us. A little disconcerting.
I saw you talking to that gray fellow.
Uh-huh.
I thought maybe the gray fellow was trying to convince you to take up his foolish quest.
I mean,
Why is
You know-
it foolish?
He's a mime. He's not
Who are you?
supposed to talk.
He can talk when he's not miming.
Supposedly someone stole his voice, so he can't talk.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what he says anyway, that someone stole his voice and he can't talk. I think he got cold feet and didn't want to go through with his engagement to Palasha.
But he
So he's
didn't ask
pretending
yet.
that his voice is stolen.
Did he ask her already?
He didn't, because he says he can't talk.
who are you again?
Who am I?
Yeah.
You went through all the trouble of following me, engaging in a very reckless and very dangerous high-speed unicorn chase, and you have no idea who I am.
Nope.
Well, I am absolutely offended.
Hello, offended. I'm Rollo.
That is not my name.
Well, then
what
fill
is
in the
it then?
blanks.
Fill in the blanks. I see what you did there. I will tell you my name. My name, and he's kind of looking around. My name is Unicorn Carousel. Unicorn Carousel.
You are a very bad liar.
And
Does he
you,
have wings on?
he does not have wings on.
Interesting.
So he
You
must
got a
work for the
ticket there,
carnival.
Unicorn Carousel?
What are you, the ticket police?
Yes,
Are they employing children now?
apparently.
Yes.
All right, fine. You've caught me.
Quit playing games, right?
We're at
Either
a
you're an
carnival. What
employee-
do you expect from me?
Yes. Either you're an employee at the carnival and you don't need wings, or you're here without a ticket, which means you snuck in and you don't have wings, which means your ass is grass if I tell some of these people. Right?
You said ass.
I did.
Somebody ought to wash your mouth out. Some kind
Welcome
of
to try.
detergent.
And I kind
I
of
said somebody. I didn't say
puff up my
me.
chest a little bit.
You are a very big lad.
Who are you, and why are you following us?
I
Looking at
wasn't.
us.
You followed me.
Because you were eyeballing us from across the carnival. Quit trying to change the subject. Who are you?
Fine. I was eyeballing you. I told you the truth. I saw you talking to that foolish mime Candlekeep. I thought he might be trying to convince you to go find his voice.
Okay. Like, even if he was, why do you care?
Because I have his voice and I'm not giving it back. And that's
grab
where
it.
we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh,
Oh, I'm clinging to that sucker.
Can't believe we just had a high-speed unicorn carousel chase.
It was amazing.
Oh my gosh. Well, I
Yeah,
hope
good.
you guys had a ton of fun with this session.
That's
I'm
incredible.
absolutely loving the little versions of your characters. And we're just getting started in the WitchLight Carnival, and starting to see that magic abounds everywhere, and even within this innocent carnival, there's things that are strangely afoot, and somehow the Dawnbringers are getting themselves involved in all of it.
Sinister curdles in this kettle of popcorn.
And we'll be very excited to return next week when hopefully Cantriel will be able to emerge from the bubble ride, hopefully. But word has it we might be without somebody else, actually. I we'll deal with it. We'll figure it out. But there it is, session 2 of the Dawnbringers, The Wild Beyond the WitchLight. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Watch other streams.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, you can.
So we're entering into the final week for the Mage Forge Kickstarter. If you want to get that box set of magic item cards, one of which is detailed of Talmud's weapon from this particular game, go check out the Nerdarchy Kickstarter Mage Forge.
Yes, please do. That is absolutely awesome to have. Just in general, it's an awesome Kickstarter. The form factor and the content, but to have something that we all collectively work together to create such an amazing scene, and now have it's going to exist as a thing in a 5e supplement. That's pretty darn cool.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. So please do check that out. Speaking of Nerdarchy, in a couple weeks, we will actually. Is it next week, Ted?
Next Friday.
Next Friday. You can catch myself and some others over on Nerdarchy Live for our next session of Untraditionally Arcane with Ted as our game master, and we just have a blast all playing wizards over there. Tune in on Monday nights for the continuing campaign of the book club in Candlekeep, or Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries. That's Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, you can catch me and Em over on Dice on Ice RPG for our continuing Curse of Strahd campaign. We've broken 50 sessions. And we're trying desperately to survive as we move into the end game over the next couple of months. I say trying to survive. It's like by a very thin thread. And it's not at all because my character keeps making poor decisions. Also, not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday is our final session of Silent Sky. Is that what it's called?
Yes, Silent
completely words. It's our Mythos adventures over on Big Bearded Nerd. Not only is it the final session of the Mythos Call of Cthulhu game that Em is running us all through, it's the last of the Mythos games that will be on Big Bearded Nerd because they're coming back to Mini Terrain Domain. And we are very excited by the next campaign. I'm not going to tell you who's running it or what it's going to be, but you'll want to stay tuned for that announcement. Of course, the Dawnbringers every Thursday here, and every other Tuesday, catch Jay, aka Neophet, running a wonderful group of people through Legends of Saltmarsh right here on Mini Terrain Domain. And then over on the Emporium for the Wayward Gamer, every other Wednesday, he runs Saltmarsh Legends. 2 sets of adventurers in Saltmarsh 100 years apart, and their actions are affecting each other. It's a very cool concept. So check that out. A huge thank you to everybody who... What?
Can I shout something out?
Absolutely.
On February 6th, D4 is returning to the studio, and we will be doing our first game of the year. So if you are looking for something entertaining, it's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/D4RPG. We did just hit affiliate, so
Nice.
if you like us and you haven't already, hop on over and subscribe.
Please do check them out. Wonderful. Just a whole bunch of cool people over there. Lots of great things happening with the D4 crew recently. So check that out. I don't have Dwight here with my thing to tell me who's up next for raiding. So I don't have guidance for a raid. Anyway, huge thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Thank you to everybody who subbed and rated and all that good stuff. And if you were one of those people lurking silently in the background, not participating in chat, thank you. We appreciate you all the same. And I have to say...
You should raid Turtles and Chill.
Turtles and Chill?
Turtles and Chill.
Turtles and Chill. I see them. They are live and... Oh my gosh. It's literally
amazing
Turtles and
channel.
Chill. I don't know what's going on there, but okay.
It's amazing.
Yep. So that's who we're going to raid, Turtles and Chill. Stick around. Huge thank you, as always, to my amazing players here who trusted me when I said at the end of the last session, you're all now children. Roll up first level characters as children. So thank you, as always, to Dan, M, Ted, Jeremy, Katie, and even though she's not here, she's here with us in spirit, V, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. Stick around after we end the stream, because we are going to send that raid over to Turtles and Chill. But we're going to end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Wait, she frosted by what?